And greetings, casual citizens. I'm Paul, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Jason. And today we are reviewing Star Trek Discovery Season 2, Episode 11, Perpetual Infinity.
Howdy, listeners.
All right. First off, Jason, what were your thoughts on the episode?
She got orphaned twice.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Well,
sick burn, God.
Okay. I mean, was she orphaned the second time?
Yeah.
I feel like
Her mom's gone now.
well, she's not dead.
Didn't she go to space?
She went back to the future.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
I'm wearing a Back to the Future shirt, so I just wanted to.
I was so happy. I was so happy that when she went forward in time,
Yeah.
that she just went into space. Because that's where it doesn't matter how far in time you go. Well, it does. But like any reasonable amount of time, like you would care about, like a day or an hour.
Sure.
If you go, if you travel through time but not space with the planet, then you end up in space. The Earth's moving, or the planet's moving, and the star it's orbiting is moving.
Well, yeah.
So you always end up in space.
Well, no. I mean, okay. So you're talking about at the beginning,
Yeah.
where her plan was to, when the Cleons came, was to put on the suit and go back in time to get them out before the Cleons got there.
Yes.
Right. And I see your point, but the thing was, she was only going back an hour.
Even an hour. Earth moves fast.
Well, they weren't on Earth.
I know. I keep saying that. I meant planets move fast.
Yeah. Well, I was unclear. Were they really on a planet, or were they on some kind of research?
Oh yeah.
Like it looked like a planet, but that doesn't make sense to me, because they talked about leaving it, and they also were close to a supernova, and it seems like, right, they were observing a supernova. And it seems like if you're on a planet close enough to observe a supernova, that supernova is going to cause bad problems for that planet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, but that could have been like a super future telescope.
Okay, well, I guess. But then, like, okay, seems like another close by planet could have seen it then too. So I don't know why they had to stay on that planet. Because remember, there's a whole reason Burnham...
Well, maybe this was the farthest. This is the safest distance. I don't know. Give him an inch, Paul. Give him an inch.
All right. Well, anyway. But I maintain, okay, it was only an hour. Who knows how fast that planet moves? But you also got to assume, like, okay, this suit can travel through...
Whole universe moves, Paul.
Yeah, but the suit can travel through time, and it apparently has, as we find out later, unlimited data storage. So, like, there's some pixie dust in the suit anyway. I feel like it can also translate through space as well as time.
No. I was so proud of them. This is a compliment.
Okay, but that's not what happened, though.
Yeah, she went back in time, and then
No,
the planet
she didn't.
Or forward in time.
She went forward in time.
Yes, and the planet wasn't there, which is what will always happen.
Well, if you go as forward in time as much as she did, yes. Although she went forward in time 950 years.
It's only 900 years. That's not that much.
Okay, but
for a planet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Actually, theoretically, if she went forward in time 950 years to the exact same time of that date, then the planet should have been the exact same spot.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, that's true.
Going back in time an hour actually would have been more of a risk of her landing in space than if she just translated exactly 950 years into the future.
This has become too much. No one's going to care about this.
You see what I'm saying? Well, hey,
I'm sorry, everyone.
You brought it up.
I did. I did this. I was just paying a compliment. I thought it was cool. Because I always think about that in time machine things. It's like, well, the Earth moved.
Sure. All right. So anyway, that wasn't your overall opinion.
I loved it. It's the best one yet. It's always the best one yet.
Well, it's not always the best
so
one
far
yet,
for a while.
You've liked the last couple.
Last few, it just keeps getting better and better. I'm all about it. I like Spock. I like Burnham.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really liked her acting while she was like finding out about her mom. I was buying that. Like, her mom, it wasn't an illusion. It was that she actually did see her mom.
Her acting throughout the episode, I thought, was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I have several screenshots in here of her reaction, her facial reaction, because she was telling stories with her face.
Okay, I have to say something delicate.
Okay.
I'm going to be very specific so I don't say anything wrong.
Okay.
Okay. So...
I'm concerned about where this is going.
So because she's like portrayed as Vulcan, kind of, right?
Sure.
So she's like emotionless.
Okay.
So when she broke down and she kind of had that crazed, nervous smile...
Yep.
I was like, oh man, she's so pretty. Her smile is so great.
Okay.
Anywho, I didn't notice that before. I did because I'd never seen her really smile like that. Anywho.
Well, I don't know. I feel like she's. I don't know. I actually don't think that she's been as emotionless as people have claimed that she has been, but that's me. So I don't know. Because I feel like last episode she had lots of emotes too.
I'm just saying like the disparity, not the disparity, the
Dichotomy.
Yeah, the change, right? The delta in it.
Yeah, she does often behave very emotionless and tied down, but I don't think that's universal. I think she's shown a lot of emotion this year. I do feel like this season they gave her more emotion than they did in the first season. Yeah, I feel like that was a deliberate. I felt like that was a deliberate move by the writing staff and by the direction of the show, if I'm honest. So, personally.
Yeah, no. I noticed it right away whenever they did the when they got giddy with over dark matter with Lily, or not Lily,
Tilly.
Tilly. God, sorry, yeah, Tilly.
Yeah.
Remember when they like got really excited about the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even Spock was like, "I like science." That was kind of weird. I was like,
"That was weird." He was trying to be cool.
Science. I was like, "That's." I don't know. That being said,
for the record, second science meme joke this season in that lab.
What was the first one?
When they had to like electrify it or something. Remember, they had to like send electricity through it in a direction or something. I think it was the time that the spore aliens were visiting them. The engineer.
What was the meme?
The engineer was in the room.
But what was the meme joke?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But they said something like
that's
science.
That's also.
Oh, and Tilly did it. But
science. Yeah.
But not in the lab though. Someone else did it in the lab.
No. I think you're thinking of when they were in the shuttle bay and she was like the power of math people.
No. I'm not thinking about that.
Okay. Well, anyway, that lab is also because that lab is. It's not main engineering, but they keep treating it like it's main engineering. So I don't know what it's supposed to be. But anyway. That lab is also the same place, by the way, in season 1, where they dropped the only F-bomb in Star Trek history.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Tilly.
Yeah.
I forget exactly. She's like, oh, that's fucking awesome or something like that. Anyway.
What's your favorite physical law? Remember she said her second favorite was Newton's third.
I don't really think about it.
It's got to be thermosecond, yeah? Entropy always increases? It's got to be that.
I don't know. I guess. I'm interested to find out what it is. But if you're asking me personally, I don't actually have an opinion on my favorite law, which is weird as an engineer, but I just don't have any opinion on that. So anyway, ask me what my opinions on the show on the episode were.
What are your opinions on the show, Paul?
I thought this episode, there were really good moments in it. So you mentioned a couple of weeks ago that like when you were watching the episode, you had to like hide that you were tearing up a little bit.
I don't hide it. I'm proud of it.
No, you said it. You said go back and listen to the episode.
Go ahead.
Anyway, that was me during this episode, where she was first talking to her mom, and her mom was like trying to hurt her, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was like, oh man, that hit me. That hit me harder. That hit me so both times. That when her mom was trying to hurt her, she was like you said,
yeah, she
was doing the thing to Burnham that Burnham did to Spock.
Yes.
So that Spock would let Burnham go. You know, her mom was trying to get Burnham to let her go, right?
Yep.
And so that hurt me, but that hit me, and it hit me about as hard as the whole Spock thing did. But then the scene where like her mom like gives in, realizes like, oh, this strategy's not working. So I got to try the opposite, which is to show to her that like, yes, I do love her. Mm-hmm. And so she starts telling her like, hey, I've been watching you this whole time. I was there when you graduated the Vulcan Science Academy. I was there when you did this. I was there. I was watching you when you read the book, and to your dad, who of course wasn't there, but right.
And she's an excellent way to introduce...
that slayed me.
She's an excellent way to introduce character development to Giorgio as well.
What?
Well, when they were talking, as mother,
when her mom was talking to her, yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, they've been hinting that a lot, and I just feel like we haven't seen enough of that yet for me to believe it.
I'm so into it. Oh yeah. Every time we see her, she's going out of her way to try and help Michael get something she wants.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. I was with you last week when you said like, oh, I'm beginning to really like Giorgio.
I'm falling in love with her.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah. So yeah, for me, I am really liking her. But I don't feel like they've gotten to the place yet where she's earned that transition from Emperor to like, oh, this is a Giorgio that I really like.
Nah, she's an emperor. She's emperor of the galaxy. So she's got a lot of skill. She's talented.
Okay. Well,
She's good with people, Paul.
I will say this. I will say this.
Terrence.
I don't feel like they have made that transition fully yet, but I think this episode went a long way.
What transition do you want? I feel like this is exactly where I want it to be.
No, I just feel like it hasn't come full circle yet.
I don't want it to come full circle. I want her to stay as she is, kind of aloof and coarse.
Okay, well, for me, they haven't made the full transition for me loving her yet.
Ah, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
They haven't done, but this episode went. I love what's happening to her character, but they haven't gone the full. I guess what I'm trying to say is they haven't completed the task of making her a good guy again yet. But this episode went a really long way.
Oh, I hear you. What about the sphere? I want to talk about the sphere. I have a proposal. I have a hypothesis.
Do you want to keep talking about Giorgio now, or should we circle back?
Oh, that's a good call. I think we keep going with Giorgio.
Okay.
I like the fight scene.
Yes.
She's fighting the robot. I thought she was going to figure it out before anyone else and then stab him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just like all of a sudden, I knew you weren't you, because like he was weird right away. She commented on it right away because she's the emperor. She's really talented. She's good with people.
She suspected him right away.
Oh, yeah.
Which was awesome. I was like, that does feel like the thing that I love about Giorgio as a character, even though when I say like I don't love her as a good guy yet, that's what I mean. Like I don't love her as a good guy. Yeah, I'm not in love with it. But what I'm saying is I haven't come full circle to loving her as a good guy yet. And I feel like this episode went a long way towards that. But I loved her character for its complexities and for just how badass she was. I've loved her that way for a lot of this season.
I see. I want her to stay a bad guy, but then also make me feel like that she really does love Michael. I want to do both.
I think that's where they're headed with it.
Yes.
But to me, that means, okay, if she loves Michael, that means she has a tether to some human emotion. And so, yeah, she'll always be that gray area because she's always going to be in Section 31, right? And she's always going to have this background. But yes, what I mean by making her a good guy is once she has that tether to I love this thing, right? I love this person, then it grounds her humanity. And yes, she's working for Section 31, but Section 31 is still in Starfleet. So it's not like she's working for a Terran Empire. So she's still a good guy, even if she's playing the fence.
I hope she
and that's what I like about it.
I hope she becomes president of the Federation.
I don't hope for that. That would be bad. That would be bad. But anyway,
make the Federation great again.
Oh God. Anyway, yeah, I loved seeing her relationship with Tyler, like that line to Ash Tyler.
Oh my God, with a phone call.
Yeah,
that's the way to start a phone call. What was it exactly? It was.
I have it down here. She says. Oh no, I didn't write what she said. I just wrote "Holy shit, Giorgio and Tyler." She said something about like this next event.
This conversation is going to determine the relationship or something.
Yeah,
it was really great.
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty badass.
I'm going to start all my phone calls that way from now on. This is going to determine the course of our relationship going forward, Paul. This phone call.
Oh man, that's putting a lot of responsibility on a phone call.
It is. Take it seriously.
Well, in her case, at least,
yeah.
The future of the universe is at stake.
That was really cool.
If you call me on like a Saturday night to ask me about a movie, and you say the future of our relationship depends on this conversation, I'm going to take a very different reaction to that. I just got to say.
And Tyler, of course, ruined it all. He was
what?
Yeah,
I thought he was great.
No, he brought the bug. He did what and then he put right. No, he didn't. That's right. He gave up, but he started to. God, we did the right thing.
That's why Leland gave it to Giorgio, and she did it.
I'm just sad because I thought I'm just bitter because I thought we killed him, and then he got in that escape pod, and of course he survived.
No, he's great. He's gonna. I loved it.
What I was hoping for beyond all hope was that the AI would get him. Right, because he's a Klingon inside a human with an AI, AI driving all of it. Oh, that would be nuts.
Oh, that would have been too much. It would have been too much. I don't know if I could handle that.
I guess I would forgive him after that.
I don't know if I could handle that. But here's what I did love. I loved when she called him and they start having that interaction. And then the next time, too, when they were talking over the comm badges, which, again, the second time we see the TNG-style comm badges that only Section 31 has.
Yeah.
So, but what I loved about it, like, he was very much like, hey, like, he was very much on board. And then he even made a comment the second time they talked about, like, or she said something like, "I'll hunt you down and I'll kill you if you don't do this," or something like that. And he's like, "I've already died once. You just telling me that you're gonna let me enjoy the scenery? Stop to enjoy the scenery." I was like, "That's pretty badass."
Awesome, that was really cool.
And then I also loved later on when he was talking about it, and he was like,
"See, here's the thing. I liked him when he was in the Klingon, when he was in Kronos, right?
Kronos.
Yeah. I liked that episode. I liked him there.
Well, theoretically, we're going to get more of it next week.
I don't like it when he's with Burnham. I don't know what it really is. Just the chemistry. I don't buy it. And he's all clingy, and she's all like super serial. And I just don't buy it. I don't want it. I'm just not interested in their relationship.
All right.
I'm way more interested. I'm way more interested in Stamets' relationship. Way more interested.
Well, I agree with that. I think it's a better relationship.
It's just
but we also see more of it.
Oh, it was just a waste of time. Oh, there was a whole episode where like they just like for like a solid scene, they just stare at each other in like different hologram rooms. Yes, the hologram rooms were cool, but Jesus.
All right, you have a weird hang up with Ash, so I'm just gonna leave it there.
It's just such a waste of time, and I don't care. And it's been they've invested so much of both seasons into it.
Okay, all right. So anyway, let's talk about.
He's a dope Klingon. He's a dope Klingon. He's my favorite Klingon. No, he's not.
I didn't like him as a Klingon. Yeah,
I did.
But mostly because I just didn't like the Klingons in season 1. I don't like the way they talk. So every time he brings out that voice, like, "We have to go to Kronos," and I'm just like, can we not? So anyway, let's move on. The sphere. Talk to me about the sphere.
Do you think the reason it was dying was because her mom killed it?
In the future?
Yeah, like, like she went back in time. Because you remember she tried to destroy the sphere. Well, maybe she poisoned it some. That's why it was dying.
Why it was dying?
Yeah.
Well, I thought she said that what she did back in time was she redirected it so that Discovery.
Right, I know. She did not admit to this. But she did admit to trying to destroy it. She did say that. She for sure said that.
Well, okay. Then let's say that was the case. If she tried to destroy it and it was successfully dying, apparently.
Yeah, but
why would she have redirected Discovery? Why would she have just kept everybody away so that it just died?
Oh, that's a good point. Never mind. Fair enough.
That doesn't make sense.
Fair enough. Yeah, because it had to get to the So it was because it would have to be dying to transmit its data. That's why it transmitted its data. Sorry, that makes sense. Sorry, hypothesis debunked.
Yeah,
I concede.
I don't think that was the case. Yeah, I think with the sphere. Well, I will say this. Okay, what they're leading up to is they have to destroy the sphere data, right? And of course, I mean, they straight up mentioned it. That was the premise of this episode. Is they need to destroy the sphere data so that Control doesn't get a hold of it. And to me, I like that because it solves a retcon issue of like this whole time we were sitting here thinking like, hey, if they have all this data, all this information, right? We never hear about it again in TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how does that work out? Because, they mentioned, like, hey, there's 10,000 years of data in here. This is bigger than the Library of Alexandria.
Right.
On a universal scale.
Yep. Galactic.
Yeah, galactic scale. Okay, fair. But, like, if we never hear about this data again, then it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. It couldn't have been that useful, So they're essentially retconning it now, like, oh, we have to destroy this data and we can't get anything out of it. I'm like, oh, okay. That's a nice little retcon.
for sure. I thought the same thing.
Yeah, so that's a nice little retcon.
I think, but I don't think it all. Do you think he's the Borg? Do you think it's the Borg?
So there was a moment.
I still think it's the Borg.
So there was a moment. All right, so let's talk about Leland, because there was a moment when Leland gets taken over by Control.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It looked a lot like assimilation. It looked a lot like that computer was putting nanomachines into his bloodstream.
Yeah, it sure did.
And I was like, all right, now that seems an awful lot.
I'm sure that's what he did.
So what's the theory here? Is the theory that
he goes back in time to the Beta Quadrant and then or Delta Quadrant and makes the Borg?
It makes the Borg?
Yeah. And he is the Borg. Yeah.
That's a thought.
He is Control.
That's a thought.
And he's not able to destroy all sentient life this time because he didn't get 100% of the stuff. They're going to say, well, he's real smart. He's got the 52 stuff, but he didn't get the real juicy AI stuff, which is why the Borg, which
is why they're still human.
And you could also tie that
they're just cyborgs,
and you could tie that into why the Queen is so into Data.
Yeah. And yes, exactly. And in fact, the whole premise of taking over Leland was that the Control didn't have I guess what do you call it? Didn't have the necessary ability to replicate the human emotions.
Your biological and technological distinctiveness will adapt to service.
So that's why it had to fuse with his body. You're right. I'm totally on board. I absolutely think
I say Borg.
That's Borg.
Yes.
I think we're seeing the origins of the Borg here. That would be a hell of a thing.
So awesome. And you know what? You know what I could buy? You know what I could buy for $1 after that? Is that's the reason that Q threw the humans at him. In the first...
At the Borg?
Yeah, in the beginning of TNG.
Because it started with them?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, this would be funny. Like, they're not...
Wait, Q didn't throw the humans.
Yeah, it was like the first episode of TNG.
No, he didn't send them to the Borg. He threw them like all the way across the galaxy.
He did, and it was the Borg. That's how they met the Borg.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, man, I had totally forgotten that.
For sure. Yes.
And so that's when the Borg come from the Delta Quadrant?
No, that's the first time. Yeah, that's the first time they interact. I don't know if they go all the way Delta Quadrant or what, but that's the first time they interact with the Borg.
Of course, remember that.
And Guinan was there, and Guinan's talking about it with Picard. Yeah. You know, I know about these guys. And remember, at one point...
Yeah, so that's the thing. Guinan's planet is in the Alpha Quadrant, so they had to have been to the Alpha Quadrant before.
Yeah, and remember that I think in Voyager... There was remember when he had a son, Q boy, little Q.
Q boy.
Q had a son. Yes or no?
I do not remember.
He did
that.
for sure.
So I remember there being another Q.
And he had to like Janeway had to raise him for a week.
I don't think.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think they have kids though, because it's a continuum. I think it's like
he was the first kid ever. Yes, it was a big deal.
Oh.
Him and that lady. There was also a Q. They had a boy. It did happen. Yes.
Oh.
Anywho, back to point.
Okay.
At some point, he like is showing off in front of Janeway. He's like, I want to do something cool, right? Yep. And like he pulls 2 Borg cubes in, and then whenever Q shows up again to chastise him, he's like, "What have I told you? Don't provoke the Borg."
Yeah.
Which is always strange to me because like you're Q, it doesn't matter. But if you're like a super badass AI, I don't know. Maybe you are scary to everybody.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't remember that, to be honest, but
it was like real mysterious when he said it to me. I was like, but that makes sense because you're a Q.
Yeah, but maybe you're omnipotent. You can literally do anything.
Maybe they're super. Maybe the Borg's super scary. Maybe it's control. Man, Leland's got range, huh? The actor, completely different character. He seems completely different.
Well, okay, but he just went to like having no emotion. I don't know if that qualifies as range.
No, because he turns on a dime, immediately courteous. He'll bow, like he just completely sells the. You know what? You are right. You're doing the right thing. Good job, Tyler. Mm-hmm. Like he just completely turns it around. Right? He got completely buying it.
All right.
A minute ago, he was like really bad at his job, spy, and then suddenly he's like super efficient manipulator AI. I bought both, right?
All right. I just want to take a detour.
Hit me.
The picture on screen right now. I hope this is the last time we see this stupid bird of prey. All right. Now moving on.
Sure.
Yeah. The thing about so here's another thing I want to say about Leland.
Hit me.
This is the thing I don't understand. Well, I guess it makes more sense if he's Borg, but what we see on screen is just that Control takes control of his brain. It seems to be putting nanomachines in his body, assimilates him, but he's still, from a body perspective, my understanding is he's still human. So I don't understand how he has all this ridiculous strength that he's just throwing people around all of a sudden. That didn't make sense to me.
Well, to be fair, we don't know that he wasn't jacked to start with.
Okay, he doesn't look jacked, if I'm honest.
And he's future space jacked.
He's future space jacked?
Yes, he's got fake muscles you can't hidden under flab. I don't know. I didn't think he looked flabby. I thought he looked fine. I didn't notice him, but
I didn't say flabby or anything. I mean, he does look a little overweight, but whatever. I'm not judge. I'm not a person to judge on that.
Maybe he's maybe he's ripped. He's just nailing. Yeah, he's fine. He lifts.
Okay. Do you even lift, bro? He doesn't. Okay, even if a person is jacked, most people aren't strong enough to pick up a person and throw them 15 feet.
That's true.
Right? Like, I can't imagine Hulk Hogan in his prime picking up a person and throwing them 15 feet.
Sure.
And his job was to pick people up and throw them. And he got them maybe 18 inches.
If you trap me, right? If you trap me into trying to retcon this, I will retcon it for you. Is that what you want? Because I can do it.
I mean, the
retcon is a challenge.
The retcon would be that he's Borg. And so that the Borg are strong, because they're cybernetic.
I could just argue.
So that could be the case. But if he's not Borg, so that I guess maybe that lends credence to the idea that he's Borg now, because if he's not Borg, I don't know how he got that strong.
He's a robot. That's all I'm saying. He's a robot. He's in the system. He's just fucking with the artificial gravity.
But his body is human.
I mean, but I figure he's got Wi-Fi.
Well, okay, because of the nanomachines, but his body overall is so human.
Yes, so he's telling. Yes, what I'm saying. So his Wi-Fi is telling the ship computer to fuck with the artificial gravity, so you can pick him up and throw him.
Jesus Christ, that is,
yeah, I can retcon anything you want.
Oh, that's a heck of a retcon. All right, we're moving on from that. All right, let's talk about Burnham and her mom. We talked about it briefly. I love the two scenes that they have together. I think they speak a lot to him. But what did you think overall about? Well, let's just talk about her mom first. What did you think overall about her?
I really liked her. I feel like I barely know her.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get to see a lot of her, but I do feel like she made an impression in one episode. As far as one episode characters go.
Yeah. No, yeah, I liked all of it. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about it. I mean, what is it? It was sad when Burnham met her.
Yeah.
And it was really cool that we got to do the Giorgio thing with that, because now we feel better about Giorgio and like a motherly figure, which I like.
Yeah, I think Burnham will have a motherly figure going forward with Giorgio. So what? She's gonna have 3 motherly figures now because she has her actual mom, who's theoretically still alive out there.
Oh right.
She's got good for her. Amanda, and now Giorgio, I guess.
Good for her.
So I don't
know, to think she started an orphan.
Yeah, that's a thing, I guess. I do want to say one of the things I want to point out. One of the things that she said, which was when she was talking to Pike. And she was saying, basically proving to him, like, hey, I know everything about you. So she was like, oh, you're temporarily in charge of the Discovery, and you'll soon go back to your own ship, and you're captain of the Enterprise and all that stuff. But then she also makes that comment of, like, I could tell you more about your future, but you wouldn't like it. And I was like, oh, that was a nice little subtle reference for Star Trek people, I think, really helps the show, because it's a nice reference to what happens to him in the menagerie, which is he's horribly disfigured in a I think it's a shuttle accident, if I remember correctly. So in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but either way, he's horribly disfigured and burned, and he's paralyzed. So that was a nice little reference there. And then yes, I also like what she did with Giorgio, and I think that helps Giorgio as much as it does Burnham. I think this is going to be a catalyst for Giorgio to realize that she does feel this way about Burnham.
See, I don't know where you're getting that. We don't agree. We don't meet on this. Like, I feel like she always knew that. I feel like she has always had a deep understanding that she deeply cares about Michael. She reminds her of her Michael, and she's deeply protective of her. I feel like it's always been there.
Well, I feel like she has justified it to herself. I think because she's one of these people who has an opinion of herself as being ruthless and powerful. She was the emperor of the Terran Empire, after all.
No, maybe so. She did,
and I think she justified it to herself as, no, I really care about her because of she helps me get power in these ways. Like, she helped her get power in the Terran Empire.
Sure.
And I think this is maybe one of those things that helps her realize, like, oh no, it's deeper than that.
She did kind of like halt for a second whenever she said, you love her.
Yeah. There's a moment where she was like, no, I don't love her. But then there's like, she was like, I think maybe she's right, and I think that's going to be important going forward. So I like that scene happened. All right, let's talk about the plan to get the data. Let's talk about their grand master plan.
I still don't know what happened. Is the mom with the suit?
Yes. Okay.
Mom is with the suit, but they were saying for a minute there, they were talking about a situation where one of the Brexit versions where they don't. Nice. They don't have she's lost without a suit. Did he shoot the suit? It looked like he shot the suit.
He did shoot the suit, but what happened was he destroyed the time crystal.
Okay.
So that thing that you said, the picture's not up, but if when the picture comes up, if I remember, I'll point it out to you.
Okay.
Because I took a screenshot of it. But essentially that when it shows the back of the suit, because he shot through the force field somehow. I don't know how that works. But he shot through the force field and went through the suit. And it hit that thing in the back.
He's Section 31. That was the experimental
Section
weapon.
31. Great, all good times. And he hits the time crystal. It destroys the time crystal. So the suit's still intact, but there's no time crystal anymore. And that was the only one they knew about.
Gotcha.
Right, because they stole it from the Klingons.
I didn't pick that up. That makes sense now. Okay, but
so she has a suit, but it can't go through time anymore.
Okay, but after that, they were still set. That's when they said they had this argument about, well, no, don't do whatever this plan is because you will be stuck in the future without a suit. How did that happen?
Well, without a working suit. So now the time crystal's gone. She'll be stuck in the future, and she can't come back to the past anymore. See what I'm saying?
It blows.
Because the time crystal can't go. So she has the suit, but it's useless. It can't go through time anymore.
I hear you. Okay, yeah. So when you say she's with the suit, she's with a broken suit.
She's with a broken suit.
I didn't understand.
Yes,
I'm there. Okay.
So the suit's still there. It's just the time crystal's broken. Which, again, I hate time crystal. It's such a stupid generic sci-fi thing. But I'll move on. I don't want to rant on it. But I will say, okay, so let's just start from the chronology. Their plan was, because we get the name of the episode from this, Perpetual Infinity. Their grandmaster plan was that they were going to download all the sphere data into the suit, which apparently has unlimited data storage. They're going to let it go back into the future by dropping the containment field. But of course, then Burnham's mom would also go back into the future, right? If that happened, because she's tied to that timeline, apparently, or that time period now. Mm-hmm. And I like how they tied it to, they did it subtly, but they tied it to basically the event, saying like, because remember when she had the suit, she was going to go back in time. She was going to go back in time an hour, but instead she went forward 950 years. And they say, because it was because they were next to a supernova. It generated so much energy, that supernova did. That's what screwed her up, her calculations, and sent her forward 950 years. Because then they said, because Stamets said the only way to get her back into our timeline is to have something with enough energy on the scale of a supernova. Mm-hmm. And then Burnham kind of gave a face like, oh, I can't, like, again, like, I think she's back to feeling kind of like it's her fault again because she wanted to stay to watch the supernova. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, no.
So now, even though she knows that the Section 31, she's also like, but us being close to that supernova is what put her 950 years in the future.
I hadn't considered that, but that's a good point.
So that's harsh. I feel bad for Burnham on that one. But I also, so anyway, so they're like, okay, so we're going to download all the data. We're going to get the containment field. We're going to put it in the future. And apparently they could say they put it in a wormhole that goes off perpetually into the future. And that's where they get perpetual infinity. And I'm like, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I didn't know what that infinity part was about. I didn't get that either. When they said that, I was like, I think that's just dumb. I don't know what that is.
Well, because their idea is if we put the suit back in the future, we put the suit so far into the future that the control can never get a hold of it because control won't exist that long.
Yeah.
Right? Then we're safe. And so the idea was if we put it in here and we do this thing, I forgot what they said, it'll go into a wormhole that just constantly goes into the future. Mm-hmm. So it's perpetually going into the future. So it's just going out into infinity or until the universe collapses again.
Heat death.
Right. Which
means there's no time. That is infinity.
Yeah.
In heat death, nothing changes. So there is no time. Doesn't mean anything.
Sure.
So,
sure. That's the thing. And then,
but basically, they wanted a samurai jacket.
I haven't seen samurai jacket.
He's sent into the future.
Oh,
as a last resort because he's about to kill the bad guy, but the bad guy has powers. And
do they go Back to the Future? I'm wearing a Back to the Future shirt. Just
exiled to the future by his enemy because
was Samurai Jack? No, I'm thinking Afro Samurai. I was thinking the one with Samuel L. Jackson. That was Afro Samurai.
Oh yes, you're correct.
Yeah, I was thinking, which one? It doesn't matter. We're not the anime podcast here. Check out our casual cast if you want to hear us talk about anime. YouTube.com Casual Notion. Yeah, and then the idea here was the one that really got me. The idea was okay. Then obviously her mom would go into perpetual infinity as well. Oh, but wait, we can get her back into our timeline with something that has as much energy as a supernova. What do we have that has as much energy as a supernova? Oh, remember, we got that dark matter.
Which is highly energetic for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that might be true.
I mean, I thought the whole point... Well, first of all, dark matter is just matter...
Collisionless matter.
Collisionless matter, right. So I would think you would really be talking about dark energy. And the whole point of dark energy is it's just the same as regular energy. It's just we can't see it in a perceivable universe.
Well, it's
we can perceive that it's there by mass, but we can't physically perceive
it. It's as best I can understand dark energy. It's a component of empty space. It's just a part of it, right?
Right.
Creates this negative pressure that pushes things out.
Right.
That's the best model or something.
Yeah, well, dark matter anyway is tied to the fact that there's a whole bunch of mass in the universe that we can't account for.
Things seem heavy, but they're not that heavy. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So dark energy. So anyway, my point though is I don't know that there's anything physically in the real physics world
like
that means that dark energy has more energy capacity than regular energy.
Yeah, right. I don't think so. But here's how about this? I got an idea. Like I can retcon this. You ready?
Okay.
Yeah. So
hit me with your retcon.
No. So the whole thing about dark matter is it seems like there's not enough stuff for there to be enough gravity to hold the galaxy together. That's the claim. Well, we can't seem to find this matter, so we call it dark matter because we can't seem to see it. But maybe Paul.
Maybe.
All of it is just in that one rock that Tilly found. We found the dark matter. It was in this one rock, and that's why it's so heavy because it's so
infinitely dense. Yeah.
It's like so dense. So like that's why it's all in one place. So it's okay. We found it.
I mean, I'm going to put a hole in your theory right now, which is that whole episode. The whole point was there was a whole bunch of dark matter there, and she was only able to capture that one little bit.
I know.
Remember?
I know.
That was the whole thing there. But I like it. I want
to
make.
Hustle.
I want to make Jason's retcon a staple of this because you are throwing out some hella good retcons.
I'm a great retconner. Dude, I'm a Star Wars.
You're a Star Wars fan. You have to.
I have to. I can tell you.
And you read comic books.
Yeah, I can tell you why they're sound in space in Star Wars.
Oh God, yeah, because you talked about it because of the shields.
Yeah, they must
atmosphere.
They must trap atmosphere or something, or they must vent atmosphere or like exhaust gas while the shields are up.
And that would explain why the Death Star apparently can just walk around with float around with open shuttle bays that the Millennium Falcon can just fly right into.
Is that what's wrong with that?
Well, it's just obviously if there was no atmosphere out there, that landing bay would have no atmosphere.
Oh, well, presume they've established that they have some kind of weird control under how much stuff they let through a force field. So there's probably some little force like invisible field that like doesn't let air out.
Hey man, I'm just trying to give credence to your retcon. That it makes more sense if it's just open and the whole Death Star is surrounded by a shield that contains atmosphere.
I don't know.
Because in fact, they actually, I don't want to make this a Star Wars thing, but isn't there actually a part where the Millennium Falcon is getting close and the ship starts to shake and they're like, oh, we're going through the shield or something like that? Or was that when the tractor beam got hold of them, I think?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly.
I believe so.
Anyway, this is not the Star Wars review podcast. This is a Star Trek review podcast. Yeah, so I think, last thing I had, Spock. Let's talk about this. I feel like they're making him a MacGuffin, and I'm not happy about it. Well, MacGuffin's not the right word.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary at all.
What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, they're making him this magic component where he finds a log of hers where she's like, oh, the fact that Spock is half human and half Vulcan means he's able to combine logic and whatever it is, passion or emotion or whatever. Heart. He's able to combine those to believe me. To be able to communicate with me through time and space, and his dyslexia, which we just found out about a couple episodes ago, makes him understand what they call it, atemporal dysphagia.
I didn't need it.
I was like, what is this?
I didn't need it.
And she literally says, he might be the only person in the universe that I can communicate with through time. And I'm like, you mean to tell me that Spock is the only half human, half Vulcan with dyslexia in the entire history of the galaxy?
No, I'll buy it.
That's what you're telling me.
I'll buy it. They cured dyslexia right after Spock, so there's no more. It's just him.
Well, okay. I'm gonna retcon myself here. Actually, now this actually does make sense if AI destroys the universe within the next few months.
Good point.
Because Spock is one of the only half human, half Vulcans at that time.
That's true.
Only one that I know of, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think is the only one that we know of in Star Trek, and there may have been another one, but. He's certainly the most prominent one.
Mm-hmm.
So you figure if the whole universe is going to get, purged in the next 6 months, yeah, there's probably a handful of half human, half Vulcans. He's probably, the only one that has dyslexia.
That's a good point.
Okay. I retconned myself. I got it.
Bravo.
All right. That's it. That's all I got.
That's all I got. I liked it. You didn't say how much you liked it.
I didn't like it as well as the last episode. There were moments that I think Burnham's acting in this episode was great. Sonequa Martin Green, her acting was great. I love the development of Georgia. I love the development of Tyler. I love seeing Burnham's mom. But I still felt like there were parts of it. There were things that I felt like we missed. Like, oh, Hugh, he's just the doctor again. And like he even kind of makes a comment about like, oh, I've been reinstated for a whole of 5 minutes. And like, I don't know, I could have dealt with more.
Yeah, I thought thought all of it was a waste of time too.
What?
I'm glad we're back to being Doctor.
No, I don't know. I kind of would have liked to see more because I like his character, and I would have liked to see more development there.
We can develop it otherwise. It takes a lot of time with his resurrection.
I don't know why you hate it so much.
I like him. It's just we spent a lot of time resurrecting him from the dead.
Well, I think we should spend more time, honestly, because it's great. It's a great story, and you should be more happy. You should be more into it.
It's all sorts of ways. You make it interesting.
But I still felt like I felt like the science stuff was a little overwrought. There were just parts of it that. From a story perspective, it didn't feel as cohesive to me. And there were lots of things that I could see coming, right? Like I could see as soon as we see that Leland is getting assimilated, I'm like, oh, Georgia is going to find out, and then it's like her and Tyler are going to have to stop it. And that's exactly what happened. It just, a lot of it felt predictable. So from a story perspective, that's the thing. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know what else they could have done. Like these are the beats they have to go for the story. For the story arc for the season, so I guess
I didn't expect him to show up down there with the guns. That's pretty cool.
No, you didn't?
Just like show up, like, hey, I'm just gonna take care of this myself with the guns.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, that's fair. He's a hands-on evil genius. Yeah. Okay,
that's fair. I didn't see that, but of course, once he did, I could see like, oh, Giorgio's gonna help him, and then also when they were like, oh, we're gonna shoot the torpedoes and take him out, I'm like, he's gonna get away. That's obvious. Because this is only episode 11. I think we have 15.
What was I yelling the whole time? Shoot his ship down.
Yeah.
Then you have to worry about the data.
Yeah.
Shoot the ship down.
They should have done it because we already
throw it in the sun.
Because we already see next week that ship. He's still going on it, and he's like he's throwing everybody out the ship. Right? You didn't see that?
Oh yeah.
Because you just see the frozen bodies floating while the ship's leaving. Ugh. Probably should have done something about that, guys. But at the same time. To be fair, if they had shot the ship down, this is what I was going to say to you when it happened. If they had shot the ship down, destroyed that ship, there were lots of decent Section 31 people on that ship. You see what I'm saying?
I did think that, but again, universe, galaxy, all civilized, all sentient life.
But their plan would have worked if he hadn't gotten away. You see what I'm saying?
I would have beamed them all to my ship and then shot the ship down.
But here's the thing. That's what I was gonna say. They could have beamed them over before they shot the ship down, but then I thought, oh, they probably had their shields up.
We know that we had.
But then if they had their shields up, how did he beam back to the ship? So they couldn't have had the shields up. So So
and we know they can do that fast. You know how we know?
What?
JJ Verse, because they beam all those coffins at once, so you can beam a lot of things fast. And the Enterprise does it. Discovery can probably do it.
Yeah, well, but this isn't the JJ Verse. So we don't have that same kind of technology. Because remember, the JJ Verse is affected by future Romulan technology.
How do I please you? What do we have to do? What does Star Trek have to do for you?
We can talk after about how you can please me. I'm just kidding. You know me. I'll never be happy. So that's just the way it is.
Are you feeling better about? Are you feeling better about the Section 31 lore? You still irritated by it?
I mean, I still think no.
I like to think it's gonna be a dirty secret after this.
In fact, you reminded me of something. This was a big problem I had. I made a note of it, and I almost forgot about it till you just mentioned this. That scene where Tyler is talking to Leland, he's on Discovery. It was after he was there, and they were trying to coordinate, or they were trying to delete the data.
Yep.
And the firewall went off, so he didn't get the data, or whatever.
Yep.
So he's reporting back to Leland. And so he's having this covert discussion with a Section 31 captain in the fucking computer in the hallway of the ship with people walking by. That's not how you have covert conversations, people.
No one's mean in Star Trek, so you just trust everybody, so no one looks at what you're doing.
Oh, but okay.
It's a utopia, Paul.
But he's walking around with a black badge. If you're going to be suspicious of somebody, it's going to be the Section 31 dude walking around with a black badge. Which is also why you shouldn't wear a black badge. That tells everybody you're a Section 31 agent.
That is true. You shouldn't wear a black badge. That's fair.
So no, I'm still not happy about Section 31.
I hear you.
But I can live with it. It's whatever.
Sweet.
If I can deal with, what I forgot it. But anyway, Darmok at Tanagra, then I can deal with this.
Darmok at Tanagra, what was that again?
That episode of TNG, where he had that guy that communicates in like phrases that Picard is stuck on the planet with. It's a whole meme.
Oh, I don't remember it.
And it's like, it's Darmok, Atanagra. And
there's a lot of TNG, man.
Shaka, when the walls fell, or something like that. Anyway, and Picard's trying to figure out how to converse with him. He's like, oh, he finally figures out that he speaks in like references, right? But I'm like, it's convenient that the references are all in English. It's just not a grammar that you understand. It's not a syntax that you understand.
The universal language, Paul.
Yeah. So anyway, if I can accept that these people on this planet speak in references that are still in English words, then I can accept that Section 31, he has conversations in the hallway, and it is what it is. But I can accept it, but I don't have to like it. Okay? So anyway, overall, I'm assuming you recommend because you think it's great.
Big recommend.
Again, yeah, I recommend it. It's a good episode, and of course, you pretty much have to see this if you're going to follow the story because it's so important. So overall.
Unless you want to be lame and not know about Star Trek.
Which you shouldn't. And what you should do is continue to watch Star Trek, and then come to youtube.com, Casual Notion, every Thursday at approximately 9 p.m. Or 9:15 p.m.
And be our friend.
Watch our reviews. And it's great. And you can get in there, you can comment, leave us comments in the chat, ask us questions as we're going through, we'll answer them. And in fact, I want to reference some comments. So this is post review. If you're done hearing the review of this episode, you can turn it off now. But if you want to hear some comments that we got on our last review, we're going to talk about them now. Are you okay with that, Jason?
Sure.
So this is in reference to a disagreement that we have on Culber.
Oh, it's not that much of a disagreement.
And I've made the point that I think it would be disingenuous, or that it would be offensive if they made him straight in this universe, right?
Okay.
And you think it's a good thought
I
experiment.
think it's a valid thought experiment. It'd be strange. It'd be a strange thing to have to deal with. It's like a Black Mirror episode.
Sure. Well, so there's two things I say to this. One is, I agree that it could be an interesting thought experiment as a pure thought experiment in a vacuum, but this isn't the world in which we live. And two, that if they want to have that thought experiment, technically they can already do it with Stamets to a less offensive degree because they've already said that Stamets was pansexual in the Mirror universe, whereas he's just gay.
I guess.
In this universe.
I guess.
So they can already have that thought experiment that way. They don't have to take a gay person and make them straight. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and even then I would say going pansexual to gay is, I mean, it depends on how you look at the spectrum. But it's not as big a move as gay to straight.
I don't have strong opinions about this. I'm just
But
happy
anyway,
for anyone who figures out what they've got going on.
Sure,
I figured out what I got going on.
But anyway, the point is why I maintain that it would be a bad idea to make Culber turn straight, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That even as a thought experiment, given the history of Star Trek, it's not a good idea. So we got a couple of comments on this.
Yeah.
On our last episode. Our first comment comes from Stress Free K. Shout out Stress Free K. Thanks for watching. You've left a few comments on our videos, and we noticed that, and we appreciate you. So he says, here's why it would be doubly homophobic for Culber to turn straight. It's because it would reinforce the myth that being gay is a choice, and something had to happen to turn you gay. So if gay people had grown up differently, they may not have chosen to be gay. So if he's gay in one lifetime, and then he comes back, even though he has mentally is exactly the same, and physically is pretty much exactly the same, but all of a sudden he's straight. And the only thing is different is he's like, well, I remember my old universe, but I feel like I didn't live it.
Yeah.
And now he's straight. It kind of leads credence to the idea that being gay is a choice, or that it's environmental.
That's a misconception. And it doesn't really matter if it's environmental. Here's the thing, because you're not in control of your environment. You still don't get a choice. It doesn't matter if it's genetic or if it's environmental. If it happens young, which we know it does, then you don't have control over it. So it's not a choice. You can't, anything you like, name a thing you like. You're not in control of why you don't like the opposite of that thing. You like red, but you don't like blue as much. But you're not in control of that,
right? No, I got you.
But it's not. It might not be genetic.
Well, okay, but that's.
Or it might be. It doesn't matter. It's either way, you don't choose.
Okay, but understand what you're also saying here is that, okay, it may not be a choice in terms of a conscious choice that you make, but essentially what you're saying is that if that is not genetic at all, then you're saying it's entirely environmental. Which means that lends credence to the idea that if we pray the gay away, or if we stigmatize homosexuality, then people won't be gay.
It doesn't do that. It doesn't do that at all.
I claim that it does.
Why?
How else does it work?
Okay, you know what? I'm willing to say that in this world where in the Star Trek world where this thought experiment happened,
sure,
right? if the pray away the gay people can actually resurrect you from the dead, you might want to listen for a second. But we know, but the pray away the gay people here are just bigots and crazy people.
Well, okay, but
they're not killing you and resurrecting you from the dead from another universe.
Right.
In a new body.
Right.
Who knows what happens to you?
But Hugh wasn't resurrected from the dead as much as it was his memories were transferred into a clone of his body. That's a purely scientific way. It's not like a Jesus being resurrected, magic hokum. It's a legitimate scientific avenue they went through.
Okay, sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So that's what makes it different. I don't think they're that comparable, personally.
But we don't know. But then again, we don't know what happens when you change the body. What if like?
Well, but it's a clone of the
What if it's like? What if it's like? You know, how, like people get like phantom limb or whatever. What if it's like phantom bodies? Like, man, this just.
Well, I mean, the only way I could see this argument making sense is if it is a situation of like, did you ever see the movie Multiplicity?
No.
I saw the box art. It's where Michael. It's a great movie. It's a hilarious
movie.
Movie.
I get the
Michael
premise.
Keaton gets clones. Anyway, at one point, one of the clones makes a clone of himself.
Yes.
And then that clone comes out like he has issues. He has issues.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, it's like when you make a copy of a copy, it doesn't come out perfect, right? The only way I can see this happening is like, oh, we made this clone, but like the cloning technology is not perfect, and so genetically he actually is slightly different. That would be the only way, but they've already said that's not the case. He's genetically the same, except he doesn't have the scars that he didn't get removed, right? So I just don't buy that. I think if they make him straight, it undermines the idea of it having anything genetic, and I think that's a dangerous thing to do in our current situation.
I guess I hope no one is suggesting that I have some claim about it being a choice.
I don't think so, but I just think that maybe because again, the reason I wanted to highlight these comments is because, well, I don't know the sexuality of these people. I have a guess from Stress Free K. If it is a male, and based on other parts of his comments, I have a guess that he's probably homosexual. If it's female, then I guess it doesn't matter. But either way, my point is, you and I are not gay, so we don't have a lot of valid claim on how this works, right?
Sure.
Either way. So I want to bring in a different voice.
How so? How do we not?
Well, because we're not gay. So how could we say if it's genetic or if it's a choice or anything
like
that? Because it's not something we have to deal with.
We deal with the exact opposite. We are straight. We have no choice in that.
Okay.
Right?
But I don't think it's the same thing.
It is by choice, or they are. I mean, you're saying that when we're saying that when we say it's not a choice, we're saying that it's not a choice. In the same way, it's not a choice for us. No. Otherwise, you diminish the claim that it's not a choice.
Right. No, what I'm saying is, I don't think we have a claim to talk about how it can be offensive for this to be a storyline or even a thought experiment.
That's true. What I mean. That's probably true. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't write Star Trek. I just thought it would be a crazy thing to happen. That's all. Sure. That's why I brought it up, guys.
So the second comment we got from Daniel Frost. Shout out Daniel Frost. He says, if he turns out to be straight, it would be incredibly offensive. It would mean that he is now, quote, healed from his homosexuality.
Doesn't mean
being gay would be the same thing.
To be fair, hold on. To his credit, there are crazy people who would see it that way.
So I didn't. Yeah, exactly. And he says he makes a very good point here. He says, being gay would be the same thing as his scars that were erased. Because remember, he doesn't have his scars when they rebuilt his body.
I can see how...
And you can build a correlation there.
Yeah, you can.
And he says that's the worst thing you could do to gay representation, worse than stereotypically killing the gay character.
Well, that's a fair critique. Yeah, sure. So
anyway,
I'm not super attached to this, guys, but I appreciate the comments.
Yeah, I just wanted to give voice to that because again, I think it's important to bring other voices in on that and voices that I can't give and bring points that I didn't think of. So anyway, and I'll give a shout out to our last comment, Luke Busby, who says, "Love your reviews, guys. You guys should have way more views. What's up with that?" Well, what is up with that is...
Yeah, internet, what's up?
If you want us to get more views, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and share this video so that other people can see it, because that's the biggest thing right now is in order for people to see it, they have to know about it. And we try to put it out. We put it out on social media, twitter.com/casualnotion, instagram.com/casualnotion, and facebook.com/casualnotion. But again, we need shares. That's what makes stuff goes viral. And then also follow us on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/casualnotion. If you want to hear more discussions of Jason and I having debates about SJW issues, as Jason will call them. He tells me to take off my SJW hat, and I refuse to take off my SJW hat because I'm going bald. So if you want to hear more discussions like that, go follow us on twitch.tv/casualnotion. On Sundays, it's 6 or 7 p.m. We haven't nailed down the schedule yet. We stream our Casual Notion political podcast, and we discuss all kinds of issues there. I think this week we're going to have a lot to talk about. And that's about it. You got anything else?
I got nothing.
All right.
Thanks. Well, thank you all for being here.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Go ahead and see us next week at approximately 9 p.m. Until then,
bye.
Keep it casual.